Hi, Rashad. Nice to meet you.
Mm.
And congratulations on your film being selected at Sundance this year,
Oh, thank you. It's been an honor
for
completely.
sure. Before I delve into the film, which is Ricky, your short film, can you talk a little bit about your career trajectory? I am very intrigued about the fact that you've had other careers that have led you towards this path. So maybe a quick intro.
Yeah, so sure. My name is Rashad Frett. I'm a director, emerging director. I've been doing it for many, many years,
Mhm.
lived many, many lives. But as far as my trajectory, the way the universe is guiding me right now is to continue to further direct films on a bigger scale that talks on, topics, needed topics in our communities, um, uh, all across the board. And also considering doing television shows, but everything that I do, like as far as personal projects, I want to tackle some type of social issue because our medium of cinema and films, like it impacts society so much. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I know we have a huge responsibility, and I don't want to take advantage of that just for for that. Like the media, people needs good content because you know it
Mhm.
affects children, everybody. So
Of
my
course.
trajectory is to keep going and use these films to and shows or whatever content that I do to raise discussions in all aspects.
That's very interesting. I've seen the film. It's a really impactful sort of 18 minutes of a snippet in a particular person's life story. So my understanding is that you also spoke with some friends in terms of their experience being incarcerated and what it's like to come home after being incarcerated in the US. Can you talk a little bit about how your friends' sort of experiences led to this film now, yeah, Ricky?
Yeah, so I mean, it was just like, you know, it was just like conversations like how we were having, it's like back then they got out of prison and just they were having a hard time getting work
Right.
and and because of their records and I remember specifically one of my friends, he was saying that, he don't know what to do anymore. It's like he don't want to resort back to what he was doing,
Mhm.
but he feels like he's labeled, and that label is like affecting his future, you know.
Right.
And we would, I would speak words of encouragement. He would also give me words of encouragement as well, like, keep going, and street life isn't for me and all that stuff. And um, but unfortunately, he kind of fell back into the his ways that got him incarcerated uh, because he just had trouble just navigating and he was in isolation for some time. So he was telling me how that was like the worst part. Just like we're humans, like we need to interact with
Right.
other humans, and when they take that away from you, it's like it's like you are your own. It could be rough. That's what he
For
said.
sure, for sure. You somebody who has a lot of experience being not just a writer, you're a director, you've also done cinematography work and editing. So what I appreciate in Ricky is that personal space that you provide for your character. I'll talk about the casting in a second, but can you talk about that, what you had in mind when you were writing, but also kind of maybe thinking about your camera work as well?
Yeah, so pretty much for my style, for the past couple films that I did, I love to give the audience I want the audience to feel like they're there in the room, or they're there with the protagonist or whoever is on screen. So like for me personally, I did documentary for a long time.
Hmm.
I worked with the children of incarcerated parents. I worked, documented, their interactions with their parents, and in the prisons and this and that, and seeing how the adults who were
Hmm.
incarcerated, how they were. It was a very interesting feeling, and I wanted to uh, have that feeling when I did my narratives.
Right.
So like for me, I shot on zoom lenses,
Mm.
just to give the audience, like we're peeking into this world,
Hmm.
and you know. Uh, as far as like with my talent, I kind of like tell them, like, look, you know like I give them the script, and
Yes.
one of my notes is like, just use the script as a guide. You don't have to be married to the words on the screen. If it doesn't feel right to you,
Hmm.
you don't have to say it. Just like I want it to feel as organic, authentic as possible to the actor. So,
Right.
and then it translates. The audience feels that authenticity. So that's the approach that I
Right.
go when I go and do that.
Can you tell me what was it about Parrish Bradley that was the click for you as your Ricky?
So I have this unique, uh, weird talent of it's like you said, it's a click. Uh,
Hmm.
like finding Parrish, it took a very long time because like I had his role initially casted from before, but what and who I had prior, and this is prior before the pandemic shut it down.
Right.
He had a lot of potential, but he wasn't quite there, and I was trying to push him to that point. But unfortunately he wasn't getting to that point, and like a lot of good friends of mine, peers, fellow NYU classmates, and
Yeah.
filmmaker collaborators and producers, was suggesting that I could be open to see who else is out there.
Hmm. Hmm.
I brought on a casting director and for that role specifically because it was extremely hard. That
Yes.
role was a very complex role because it's a multi-layered character, and I knew
Indeed.
that like in all of my films that I've ever done, like Ricky's role was the hardest role to cast in my life. Uh,
Hmm.
and I knew like I had to really really be careful and really dissect who specifically was for the role. So the casting director brought on a bunch of self tapes from all across the country, and
Hmm.
um, like his self tape was, I think, in the third round of self tapes, and
Right.
it was something. Like I was squinting my eye. I was like, he has something, but I didn't get to interact with him. So I
Hmm.
told the casting director, I was like, let's give him a shot. So ended up I gave three auditions. He auditioned three times for the role, and then we gave him a chem read with James, because we had already casted James.
The
Um,
brother, right? Yeah.
Malik
Hmm.
Johnson is on that show Grand Army. Um,
Hmm.
so that the chem read, it was amazing. It was
Hmm.
amazing. So at that point, we we told him, congratulations, you got the role. But I mean, it took like at least it took like over 6 months to find Parrish.
Sure.
It
And I
took.
mean, and this is a short film, so I think it's interesting for people to know that this is a process. It doesn't matter whether it's a feature or a short, but you need to have your person to
Right.
embody your characters. Can you also maybe share a little bit about working with Parrish once you were filming in terms of those those moments where he's not really saying anything, but his whole body says a lot more. And I
Yeah.
think the preparation, was it on script or was it something that was dialogued?
So it was more so dialogue. I just
Mhm.
the way I talk to my actors, the thing is I'm a collaborative. So, it's like I gave him the at first I started off like I give him the general sense of what's happening in this, how Ricky is in this space mentally, and
Mhm.
from there we go deeper into it. I started to ask about, and it's more so rhetorical questions like, what's some things that happened in your past that you could
Right.
connect with to pull this out. You know what I mean? So there were a lot of times where, and it's like I didn't expect him to tell me specifically what it was, but it was more so for him to think about,
Mhm.
pull out these amazing emotions, and I remember especially in the car scene,
Mhm.
when like we had our talk. I was just like, look, like, you know you got to get to work. This is your, you've been in for a long time, and this is your shot.
Right. Right.
This is your shot, and you know but if you screw the shot up, what you just came from. You don't want to go back there.
Right.
So when the car hit, it's kind of like we did kind of that stuff, and he just, he's building up, and I just silently told the camera to roll,
Mm.
and then he just, you know, he went into the space, and I thought I lost him at one point, but he was good. I mean, like, I'm gonna tell you, like, his performance was so intense at times, and I made
Mhm.
sure I told the set to be quiet and like give him the space,
Mhm.
and he would cue me when he's good, when he's coming back out of that space.
Right. Right.
Gave him some minute. I mean, it got to the point where because the thing is, I want, like, when I on my sets, I want to make sure everybody across the board, cast, crew, PA, everybody is fine. So I'm always asking everybody how they doing, make sure everybody
Exactly.
drank water, this and that. With Parrish, I was making sure, like, between each take, that he was still there, like, he was still okay mentally, because I
Mhm.
mean, we dove, like, really, we dived really deep.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but he came back out of it, and um, that's some of the strategies.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a powerful film, even towards its end, because it just leaves you with, at least even for me, right? It just leaves you with like, I don't know, face palm, like all kinds of emotions. And I think that's sort of what you probably want us to experience and create this dialogue that we want to know more about what's happening. And I think it's important that, we're hearing these stories from people like yourself who are part of the community that is directly affecting and impacting, and also the effects it has on their families. I think
Absolutely.
even though it's a short film, you capture that really, really intently and very powerfully. So thank you for that. Um, you know, do you envision this? I read somewhere that this could potentially be a feature. Is that really a plan that's in the
Yes.
works?
Yes. So we actually have a draft of the feature
Oh,
script
okay.
right now. I just came back from the Sundance Screenwriters Lab last week, and that was incredible. And I got amazing notes from a lot of advisors that's in the industry.
Right.
So me and my co-writer, Lynn QA Young, once we get back from Sundance next week, I'm gonna take, a few days just to de-stress, and not stress, but just to try to reacclimate myself back into the grind of
Mhm.
things. It's been like being out here in Utah has just been amazing, and having to adjust. I don't want to write immediately from just coming back, but we're gonna do another draft, and
Mhm.
we're gonna really, based on the notes that we got, and really tackle and make sure we're touched on key points. So it's definitely expanding into a feature. We're in that process now.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that. I also want to mention that I took a look at your other short film, King, which I
Yes.
also recommend folks look out.
Great.
I'll be sure to link that on my page. It's another powerful film. So thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for your time, Rashad, and congratulations
Thank you
again.
so much. I'm
Um,
honored. This is an honor.
it's a pleasure speaking with you.